Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Enough Said podcast. So, we are on season 5, episode 8. We're talking Eagles Giants, we're talking 49ers injury, and it's going to be a painful show because we got to somehow get through this with two Redskin fans. We got two guests coming on today. So, Dre, let's get it started. Oh, yeah, guys, another Sunday here. Another week goes by.
Yes, sir.
Here we are. Here we are. And a lot going on this week. We got a lot to talk about. And how you doing, guys? Everybody good? Jermaine's somewhere on the road. We'll probably hear those gunshots like we normally hear when it's that ball. And, you know.
I'm doing good, man. I'm looking forward to this Bengals and Eagles game, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, Mike, how you holding up with the 49ers, man? They got anybody playing this week? I thought Jennings had a shot, but not with his hip.
Nope, he's out, but Debo is supposed to play. Kittle's supposed to play. So you'll see. I'm excited to see if Ricky Pearsall, gets more into the offense and can pick up some of the production that Ayuk produced. So we'll see. But
there's nothing to worry. Mike, you're playing Dallas. I mean,
I can't. I mean, I felt that way, Dre, but they played the Cardinals, they played the Rams, and I thought, oh, that third day there's nothing there, and they lost. So at this
Cardinals
point,
and Rams are better than Dallas.
I can't take nothing for granted right now when it comes to San Francisco. I mean, this is life as a 49er, man. I'm telling you.
All right, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We got a great show this week, guys. We got a couple guests in. One who's been with us before. I don't know why we keep bringing him back, but we do. He's a nice guy. If we try to, once in a while, make him happy. But all right, the other guy we haven't had on in a while, but he's a favorite. So let's bring him in first. I said to him that playing for Washington was like being in Siberia. Now the organization has them all fired up with Daniels and all the hysteria. Bring in Tony, Dre. Bring in Tony, man.
What up, Tony?
Thank you, guys.
What's up, Tony?
Tony, what is going on?
Quite the entrance. Thank you, Sal.
Yeah, there you go, man. No more Siberia, man. It's done now.
It's a whole new year. I think I said last time, you're playing with house money. I'm still playing with house money. It's it's all looking up right now. Sales are full.
Man.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
You are decked out, Tony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody, that is no background.
I'm telling you, it's
this
impressive.
Is his like shrine.
I got a good collection up there. Couple John Riggins, Charlie Taylor, Brian Mitchell, some classics. I get you a good deal on this Chase Young jersey. But there's the good and the bad.
That guy works hard, man. Come on.
Yeah, nobody works harder at taking plays off than Chase Young.
All right, and we got a guy who you haven't met yet, but he is a favorite of ours. We love watching him every Sunday night. How the Commanders were going to improve, bought on a bunch of theories. Maybe this guy can have the Commanders on his climb back series. Yo, Hef, what's going on, man? Let's bring it on. The climb back series in the house, man.
I must say, that was an impressive rhyme. So, hey, babe, it's cold down here. Can you cut the heat up?
What up, Hef? What's going on?
Man, to my favorite NFL podcast, man. Thanks for having me again. What's up, Tony? Nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you, Hef. Love a fellow fan in enemy territory today.
Let me put y'all together over here.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Got the Washington Commanders over here.
There we go. Now we got it.
Y'all remember, this is the Eagle Station, all right? You guys are only guests. Right?
Man.
It's going on right now, but that's great, guys. Let's talk about this. This is interesting because I think Tony said it best for playing with house money. Like, I know as an Eagles fan, I did not expect Washington to do what they're doing right now. So, but we always kind of thought that maybe Daniels had the potential to be like Stroud in his first year, but it's kind of like wishful thinking that it kind of hasn't happened with some of the other quarterbacks. So interesting enough, Tony, let's start with you. What changed? Was it management? Was it ownership? A different style? And then we'll get into half on that.
This is kind of a systematic upgrade, right? I said last year, new owner, anything could happen. And as we got into the off season, changeover in management, getting a real GM, which we haven't had. I mean, gosh, probably 20, 30 years, right? Somebody intelligent making the football decisions. That went a long way. And I think that's the biggest contributor to the team being successful at the start of the season here. I don't want to downplay, Jaden's performance as a rookie. Man, he plays like there's ice in his veins. So, on top of a new organization, improvements on the roster, improvements in coaching, and then to have a future superstar under center, there's a lot to like here. Although I'm calling optimistic, I'll say I'm pretty happy coming into week 8.
There you go. I like it. Man, this has been a long time coming, and I like the real GM. I don't think the Eagles have had one in 20 years either. So, but, I'm not going there though.
Oh boy,
Half, what you got, man?
I gotta say, man, with the RG3 experience, it was a phenomenal time. We thought we had a franchise quarterback. Last year, you saw how the fan base got all behind Taylor Heineke. I mean, it tells the NFL that the Commanders fans are thriving and dying for a good team to root for. And they were competing with Taylor Heineke. So this year we got lucky, and I think they got it right. In the offseason, I thought Jaden Daniels was a top quarterback prospect coming out of the draft. I'm saying I told you so, but I'm not a genius. I was just guessing. But the GM for the Commanders can say I told you so. And when they said Caleb Daniels was going first overall in the summer, or right after the season, it was like, damn, is it that easy? We're gonna get Jaden Daniels, and he arrived and he's performing. So I just hope it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I think it will. Dre, you called it earlier. You thought the Commanders were going to win the division this year, and I'll argue that right now they're definitely playing better than the Eagles.
I mean, I was watching Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, and when the draft came up, I actually felt that Daniels was actually number one, not Caleb. And based on the championships they had, and Caleb, I just think that Daniels was a more explosive quarterback. And when he came on board, and it was right away that your wide receiver McLaurin, man, he was like, man, I got a quarterback now. Let's go, And then, like you guys said, the whole Snyder era is over. Look at that, man. He got the
crunch time flakes.
That's all.
Man, you are serious. What about the milk jug too, man? But no, I mean Washington, and as I was looking at off season, and then coming up to the Eagles and stuff, and what they came off, and the changes with their coordinators and all that, I'm like, yo, nobody talking about Washington now. I think Washington is going to be the team that's going to actually be the people to beat in the NFC East, not the Eagles.
Mike, how we get fleeced on this deal? There was a certain wide receiver from Penn State that came over to the Eagles that they gave up a third-round pick for. That hasn't really. In fact, you look on the Eagles depth chart on ESPN, he's not even listed on there right now. So
no, it was kind of weird when they traded him. That you was like, man, they're trading within the division. What is Washington doing? I remember you were kind of upset about it when it first happened. You were like, man, I don't know what this guy is thinking. And now you look back at it, you're like, all right, he wasn't a good fit. And it looks like with the Eagles, he's not necessarily a good fit either.
Nope.
It's kind of a shame because it's like his first year, he seemed like a guy that could get open, especially in the red zone. And then, his production has kind of died off. And I think Washington, what I've seen with Adam Peters in that organization with Washington is that they seem like they make quick decisions. So if a guy is not going to work, then they're just like, you know what, we got to move on as fast as we can and not sit here and try to, acquiesce this guy or try to make him happy or try to make him fit. It's just like, no, Jamin Davis was #1 draft pick. And if it ain't working, no, you gone. And so, I think they're very decisive. And I think that is a big difference than how they were in the past.
Yeah.
You make a great point there, Mike, with Adam Peters, because I didn't really agree with a lot of the decisions he's made, but he's in charge, right? The decisiveness. I like that comment because trading Jahan Dotson, who I felt like you had under a rookie contract, could be a wide receiver 2 or 3. Yeah, he wasn't successful in Rivera's schemes, but I thought like this was be his make or break off season. And I didn't like the trade in the division either, but right now it's looking like we cooked Howie in that trade. That's a
Yeah.
fleece right there, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Zero
I mean,
touchdowns through 7 weeks. Come on.
I think he's
yeah.
winning.
I mean, you even look at the whole thing about biting on Brandon Ayuk, and the whole thing was like, oh, the Commanders got to get him and Jaden Daniels sitting up there going fishing together and whatnot. They're best friends. You got to get them together. You got to do it. You got to do it. Adam Peters is like, I don't got to do anything. I'm not giving up what they're asking for. I'm not desperate. And he knows Ayuk. I mean, he was out there, so he stuck to his guns, and then look where Ayuk is at now. Even if he didn't get hurt, he was still not having a great season. So Peters made some good choices so far.
And another thing, real quick, guys, that was good was he was the first receiver that was traded before like the other 2 or 3 that got traded. So we set the precedent by getting a 3rd round pick and 2 7th round picks, where other guys were traded just for 1 pick. So we traded the least performing receiver out of the guys who did get traded and got the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I think DeAndre Hopkins was like a 5th rounder, and that's all.
Yeah. I think even Adams trade wasn't.
Even Adams trade. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's crazy. So, Jermaine, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but I wanted to get Jermaine in here real quick too. Jermaine, are the Washington going to end up beating the Eagles in this division in the end, or what?
That's what it sounds like. I mean, it's going to come down to those two. And I just want to say to Tony and Hef, congratulations, y'all. You guys have finally arrived. So, hats off to you guys. But yeah, it's going to come down. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. So it might come down to that last game when they play each other. That last time, who's going to win the division?
Ooh. Yeah, that could be a big one. And I also want to talk, guys, not because I just have him on my fantasy team too, but he's kind of developed this year. Brian Robinson Jr. Seems like he took a step up this year. He's finally, kind of the bell cow, and he doesn't always get those touches. I mean, Eckler is going to come in there and take some of it off his plate as far as receiving goes and near the goal line. But is this guy going to be an RB1 eventually? Is he an RB1 now? What are you thinking?
Yeah, Hef, you want me to start there, but I
Go
mean,
ahead, Tony.
Brian Robinson, I always liked. I think when you look back at all the failures in Ron Rivera, the general manager's tenure, right? One of the best picks was Brian Robinson by far. And maybe that happened by accident, but he has been a key part of this offense, right? And probably one of my key the key points for sustained success through the rest of the season. His health, complementing Eckler, really gives us a nice 1-2 punch. Robinson, I think, has got just about 400 yards right now, 6 touchdowns. So he's moving along. And not to take away from coaching, right, Sal? You asked me, hey, what's the big difference here? The coaching staff has done a great job. Anthony Lynn is the running backs coach, very experienced coach in the NFL, running good offenses. And I got to give credit to Bobby Johnson. I didn't like the hire when Dan Quinn brought him in from New York, right? Their offensive line has been atrocious. New York has spent more resources, high-end value picks on the offensive line to get the worst return on investment. And Bobby Johnson and Anthony Lynn have really revamped this offensive line, and that's set up the run game, right? We've been able to actually establish the run, and we're going to need to do that today. The Bears are no walk in the park. I think that'll be one of our key successes, getting started early with the run and setting the tone for the rest of the game.
There you go. And half your counterpart says, yeah, he's an RB1. He's just not feared yet.
What the hell are you talking about, man? What is this talking about? Where do you get these chatters from? K-Dizzle DC? Where are you from? Anyway. For just these people, these casuals like K-Dizzle DC, he will be feared, especially after today. See, the best thing about the Commanders right now is our head coach is defensive minded.
Yes,
and he runs the show. And one thing that I watched around the organization, just from a distance, is Dan Quinn's getting results from the top to the bottom, and the players are taking that energy and carrying it into the locker room. And I love what Tony said about coaching, because the Commanders have a balance. See, the Commanders are a team that you come in and you think Jaden Daniels is going to light you up. Like, you're afraid, you're watching the edges, you're looking for the pass. But the entire time, we're running just as much as we're passing. And we're running with Brian Robinson, not with Jaden. you think he's running a lot, but Jaden's really breaking a good 5 or 6 runs a game. But we're giving you Brian Robinson 20 strong carries a game. And then we throw in Eckler. And then we throw in our guy McNichols or whatever his name is. I mean, they got some depth. And I really like the play calling with Kingsbury, excuse me. And real quick, like I saw some formations, Tony, that baffled my mind. Like when I was following some of the games, like we have linemen swinging and moving. I mean, going in different directions, counter training from different formations. The hog style's still there, but Kingsbury's really evolved that offense.
Yeah, Cliff is going to be on everyone's short list for a head coaching
Mhm.
spot next year, regardless of how the rest of the season plays out. And I said this last year when I was on Hef, and I think you made a comment, but when Sam Howell was under center, we needed to do more motion, pre-snap motion, more of an RPO style offense. That's what's popular, but that's what's successful. And you've seen Cliff this year design an offense that is balanced, takes advantage of some motion, but really sets up Jaden to be successful and not always be like a lead runner like a Lamar Jackson, right? Jaden can run, and that's the cherry on top. But some of that pre-snap motion, giving him different looks and kind of a fresh set of eyes on offense has been great. And
Yep.
it'll be really tough if Cliff leaves at the end of this year.
And what else
Yeah.
they couldn't show that they could do last year was get the ball to Terry McLaurin. You guys said that.
Yeah.
Not to
Yep.
talk too long, but I saw a play last week to where they literally brought McLaurin in motion. We were at like the 12-yard line in the red zone. They bring him in motion and they literally like throw him the ball on an extended run play. Like we're gonna get McLaurin the ball. We don't care how many yards he gets. He's getting the goddamn ball.
Mhm. And real
Yeah, go ahead,
Hef,
Jay.
when you talked about Dan, and also Mike can speak on this because Dan's resume is strong as defensive minded coach because he was San Fran as well. And I think they got the right pieces, the right crew for Dan and his coaching staff to put this team actually to be a top contender, in my opinion. Mike, I mean, he was the defensive line coach for San Fran. He was also there for a while back, back a while ago too.
He had his time in Seattle too.
Yeah,
Yeah, here's a Seattle
Dallas.
guy.
We came
But
from
yeah.
Dallas and stuff, but he did
Yeah.
well at San Fran too.
I mean, his main thing was when he was coach of Atlanta, and they were pretty good when he coached Atlanta.
true.
And his
Yeah.
things started to fall apart, and then he did the coordinator job for Dallas, and now he's with Washington. Yeah, no, I think he's doing a great job. And when he got hired, again, it was kind of like I know Washington fans are like, man, why do we get this guy? It was it felt like a last minute kind of like Nick Sirianni kind of hire. Like, man, we had to get somebody in here, but. He came with a plan. Him and Adam Peters. You got to have that relationship with your coach and your GM talking. You kind of see it a little bit with San Francisco with Shanahan and Lynch. That you got to have that relationship there. It just works out with building a team, especially a team that's trying to rebuild or trying to get back to being on top.
And this makes it successful for Washington because what I'm about to compare to is Robert Saleh with the Jets. They have a veteran quarterback. They're trying to get things going, but it doesn't work. And remember last week we talked about how defensive coordinators just don't be successful as a head coach. And why is it working for Dan? Because he's got a fresh quarterback. He's got a good team. He got rid of Chase Young. He's got things in place and working together. And the Jets are not successful because it was how they set up was with the old Aaron Rodgers and trying to run the show. And now they brought in Adams. And of course, the first impression with him and Adams didn't work well. So Washington's got the right pieces in to build a contender team for the next 5
Hey,
years.
Drake, can I throw a stat out real quick before you guys move on?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So looking at the top teams in the league, a lot of the top teams run the ball more than they pass the ball. So real quick, Green Bay is at 50%. Even 50%. Detroit, 50% passing as far as their offensive plays. Now, here we go. Green Bay, Detroit, Philadelphia is at 48%. You guys run heavy. Washington, 48%. Pittsburgh, 46% passing. Baltimore, 46% passing. So all those teams are competitive and they're running the football.
Yep.
Yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
have KD is dogging you today, man. First he says Daniels is new and teams don't have tape. Now he's saying Chase Young on the block.
He's a hater.
Mm-mm-mm.
For some reason, he always argues with you guys when you're ready to give up on Philly. He just holds.
Yeah, right.
That's
Give him
true.
another 6 weeks. He'll be okay. Give him another year. He'll be fine.
Hey, real quick, there's one other stat I need to throw out there for Washington. I think it's really important. And that's when Jay Daniels. I was listening to interviews when he, before he got drafted, and one of the things he took pride in was not turning the ball over, because that's usually what rookies do, and that's usually what set teams back is turnovers. I mean, so far this year, he's thrown 2 interceptions. And that's very similar to how Stroud was last year, where he didn't throw an interception until late into the season. And I think that this works wonders, for a rookie, but also for a team, because then the team, starts to feel confident in the kid that he can lead them. Turning the ball over just takes a lot of confidence away from the team. You see it with, a little bit with Caleb Williams, with some of the turnovers that he had early on, kind of took teams out of the game. You definitely see it like in Carolina with like a Bryce Young, where you'll throw a pick on the first play of the game for a pick 6, and the team's just like, the hell with it, we're done. So Jay Daniels and him not turning the ball over, I think, is leading to a lot of their success, and the team is loving them for it.
And what about him throwing receivers open too, Sal, Dre, Tony?
Yeah.
Like I watched him live in Baltimore, and the ball's out.
Oh yeah.
Ball's
Mhm.
out before receivers get out there break, and that gets me excited, man. I like that's real quarterback play. Like people like Tony. I live in Baltimore, right? So I say like Lamar is great, but he's got that sandlot like, "Are you open?" And then he throws it, and then they're open. Like Jaden's out there, like, "You ain't got to be open. I'm gonna holla at you."
I was at that game too, Hef, and you're exactly right. You feel confident with Jaden under center, right? He can he not only does he have the physical tools, but he has the mental tools, right? And even if he's throwing on his first read, I gotta say, when you look at our receivers, we're getting more separation than we have in the past. I mean, even with call it a motley crew, right? That there's no other stud there, stud wide receiver 2 or 3. You're kind of using a couple different guys, but their ability to separate, catch the ball, especially in key situations. I mean, it's been a night and day difference from the offense we've been used to the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, and well, we'll see what happens if Sirianni don't work out next year. Maybe we'll bring in Cliff. Who knows, man? The Eagles fall and they do this thing.
Y'all go.
Oh, now don't break my heart now.
Last I heard today with Daniels is that they're going to kind of put him on a leash a little bit. They don't want him running as much as he typically does to take that shot. So they think they're going to throw a little bit more, probably rely a little more on Robinson Jr. for those extra couple of yards. But we'll see what happens today, and it's going to be interesting nonetheless. So
extra pads
stuff
on the ribs.
Yeah, extra pads on the ribs for sure.
Yeah, the rib plate, the whole 9 yards. Do a little extra max protection. Second tight end, extra tackle. I definitely don't like that Brandon Coleman is out as our left tackle. I know that they've cycled him and Cornelius Lucas, again, giving credit to the offensive line coaching staff for developing a 3rd-round pick to be a future left tackle. But you're going to need to keep Jaden upright and establish the run early. And the Bears are, they're allowing 112 yards per game. It's good for 11th in the NFL, but they're almost allowing 5 yards a carry. So get started early, get B-Rob, pound the hole, and get a nice lead and hold the game. That's the game plan for success today, Sal.
I like it. No, definitely. That sounds good. So people are picking the Bears. Man, he is on you today. He's not giving up.
Picking the Bears. He's like,
Well, speaking of picks, let's get into some of these picks, and then we'll talk about the Eagles. So,
can you say who's leading in the weekly pick 'em?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dre. I can pull it up on my phone real quick.
It ain't me.
I know who's winning. I know why he wants me to bring it up. So here we go. Let's see what we got here. So as of right now, the standings are. Oh, guess what? Hef knows best is up top. He's got 71 points.
Yeah.
Good job, Hef.
Flip a coin in second place, 67. Final, I'll break your back, is in third. $1 million quarterback rushers in fourth. Jermaine's matchless team. Sorry, Jermaine. You're at fifth. And then, the guy who's talking all that trash this morning, he's in last place with 46 points. But we won't mention him, so we'll get to there.
Who's he picking?
Yeah, I don't think he did pick some weeks. That's the problem. I don't think he did.
I'm falling down that trap too, man. I didn't even know it was a game on Thursday. That's how bad it was. I was like,
He's
what?
catching up. Yeah, he says he's
I
catching.
can't keep up with them pick'ems, man.
All right. Let's get to some picks this week. I do want to get Jermaine in here. Maybe we'll start with him. Jermaine, I don't know if you can still hear us, but let's start with Dallas at San Fran this week. Jermaine, if you could hear us, who do you like this week? Is it going to be there was injuries going on? Going to be the Doc McStuffins, or is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys? Who you got? I guess he can't hear us. He might be.
Yeah, he's not muted. So
Okay. All right. Well, we'll jump over to Mike. Mike, who you got on this one? I think I know who you're going to pick, but
Well, I'm taking San Francisco.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be, an easy game. I think it's been hard for San Francisco to score points against everybody. They get into the red zone and all of a sudden they just can't find anyone open and they can't seem to run the ball. So I got a feeling it's going to be a little more of the same. It's going to be frustrating, pull my hair out a little bit that I have. And then the bye week will come up. And then after that, we'll see. I mean, after the bye, Shanahan is like 41. And I was just looking this up. He's 43 and 18 after the bye week. So I'm hoping that, the second half of the season, they get reinforcements back and things start looking a little bit back to normal. But yeah, I'm picking them today. Just I just know I'm going to be at the edge of my seat. I just know it's going to happen.
you got to have confidence, man. You got to have
yeah.
confidence. Look. You guys are ranked second in offense. Dallas is ranked 25th in offense. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are ranked 5th in rushing. They're ranked last in rushing. Okay. Last 32. And they got Dak, the $60 million quarterback, right? Which is paper money, monopoly money, because the guy is horrible. He's horrible. And you guys are going to beat beat Cowboys with confidence. Okay. Confidence.
Man.
There's just no question in my mind. I don't even see how they're going to even do anything. They got a 4.5 spread, the whole thing.
That's disrespectful. To the
that's
Niners,
disrespectful.
Like.
Exactly, Tony. Disrespectful. So
Yeah.
obviously what I'm saying, San Fran all the way.
All right, Tony, who you got, bud?
Oh, this is an easy one. I'm rolling with Mike and the Niners. There would never be a situation I'm rooting for the Cowboys. So, but I will say I agree with Dre. Right? Dallas is not the same team they once were. I think stealing their defensive coordinator worked out well for us, but only giving the Niners 4.5 points at home is disrespectful. I still think among all the injuries, they're still a much better team, much better coaching staff. And we'll easily have the win tonight.
All right, who you got?
49ers.
Oh, he's not even. Look, he's like, 49ers.
I mean, that's what
he's going to say Dallas. Never say Dallas, right?
There's nothing else to say.
I was looking ahead the last 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I like how Dre brings us back to reality. A lot of and the Commanders fans are like this too. We just forget. We forget that it's been a long time, and the Cowboys are not a good football team.
Nope.
And you're not gonna sit here and make me think you are for the entire season when you're just not. You're not good. And I think San Fran can turn it around. I think that a team like San Francisco is still feared when you line up against them any given Sunday, especially if they can make it to the playoffs out of that division. So,
yep.
Yeah,
I agree with that, man.
So one team's got Fred Warner, another team is without Micah Parsons. So enough.
He's out. He's out today.
Parsons is out. Yeah. That's what I mean.
He's out. He's getting ready to do podcasting. He's getting ready to do his podcast right now. I'm like, come on, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I said Parsons is out. There's no way that even if San Francisco's offense struggles without Parsons, Dallas's defense is still horrible.
I mean, why is he on a weekly podcast talking about active rosters and they're losing weekly and nobody's saying anything to him? There's got to be that tells me that there's no true leader in that locker room.
No.
There's no true leader in that organization, right? Jerry Jones only cares about making money. As long as you're talking about the Cowboys, that his goal is to not win a Super Bowl. His goal is to always be making money, right?
Yeah.
100%.
And you look at Micah Parsons, right? Why are you on a podcast? You should be in the weight room or getting worked on or around the team, right? Focus on the wrong things outside of football.
I think all of us would rather be playing football than podcasting and be superior athletes if we could.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
right.
he'd
I
rather
keep falling
sit
down
there-
the steps, so I got
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd rather sit there and talk about other teams' rosters and who's good and who's not. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah, or be like Bill Belichick and be a coach and have a 27-year-old girlfriend when you're 70 years old. So one of the two.
Good deal. Good deal too.
Out of all places, why take it to the beach? Like, go somewhere where you have a chance. Bro.
All right, we got a good divisional matchup here, guys. In this one, Indianapolis is Houston. They're like right on each other's coattails here. This could be an interesting one, Mike.
Yeah.
Or actually, let me see.
No,
If
don't
Jermaine,
go with me yet.
well, let me see if Jermaine, if you're with us, we'll give him one more shot here. See if he can hear us.
Yeah, I'm going with the. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. I mean, if they don't pull it out today, I mean, they're just washed up. So I got this music playing.
Hey, we got it.
I'm sorry, I got this
Still in the background.
Pack it up, pack it
Yeah.
in. Let me begin.
That's a good intro. Yeah, that's a good intro music right there. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but nah, the Niners all day. The Cowboys are just a mess. That's all.
Insane in the membrane. All right,
What
enough
about
of that.
what about the Colts in Houston, Jermaine? Which one you taking?
Houston. I got Houston.
You got
All
Houston.
right.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
Houston on that one. All right, cool. I love it. With the background music, the cheering. Oh, Cypress Hill, man. That was like when I was in high school. Mike, who you got with
I got Houston.
Indy? You got
Yeah,
Houston?
Houston. Yeah, Houston's gonna win that one.
All right. Interesting, Dre.
Yeah, I got Houston too.
Mhm.
Colts defense is 29th.
All right.
And I think Stroud, he's got to. I think he's gonna have a good game today. I think he's gonna find more of Tank Dell, and I think Mixon's gonna have a big game. So
Yeah, he hasn't found Diggs, that's for sure, Tony.
yeah, but that's the whole thing, man. That's a diva. He was arguing, but how he he is. Put him in that TO rank, for that diva stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see every team he goes to, he's a cancer. So he needs to just shut up and make his skills because he's a hell of a receiver. Diggs knows he's a hell of a receiver. Just shut up and play.
Yeah. He's had his shot, especially with Collins out, and he hasn't taken it yet, Tony. So Tony, who you like in this one?
I like Houston. I mean, they're just a more consistent team. I like CJ Stroud even last year, and in college, I felt like he had a future superstar written all over him. So I'll take the Texans. I think the whole Anthony Richardson experiment is still a question mark, right? One, health. Certainly, the guy's got plenty of talent. He's got a huge arm and running ability, but you got to put it all together. And like Dre said, Colts D not the best. I think this is an easy one for Houston at home. And I'll say this: Stephon Diggs did go to my high school.
Nice.
He was 4 years younger than me, and we actually didn't win until he arrived. And actually, right after I graduated, they won the WCAC. So he is a difference maker, but it does come at a cost, right? He can be a little bit of a headache. T.O. performs, so does Stephon Diggs, though. I think needs a little bit more time to gel in Houston.
All right. Hef, who you like?
You know what? As much as I want to say this could be a trap game for the Texans, I got to take Houston because, Anthony Richardson, Tony just took the words out of my mouth. He's a Commanders fan. He's very smart.
I like that.
He's not showing he's that guy yet. And like a lot of people were talking about he was going to be like the fantasy superstar this year. And like forget fantasy, he's not even playing well on the field. He's got 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The Colts get Jonathan Taylor back today. They lost Zach Moss to the Bengals. Their run game's been non-existent. I see Houston just running through them today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a side note to my pick. If Joe Flacco gets into the game, I might pick the Colts. Like when he when he gets in the game, the team just all of a sudden starts working, man. I'm telling you, Richardson be missing guys wide open in the whole 9 yards. It's just so yeah.
Mike,
Flacco gets in the game.
Joe Flacco, I be texting Joe Flacco. It's like go
Whack attack. You don't disrespect it.
Flacco's like the best quarterback off the couch.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
He is off
He's
the
that
couch.
yeah, like, he's the best backup. Come on, the guy to come off the bench, right?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, look at Cleveland last year. I mean, as soon as he came off the bench, you know, for Watson, you know, offense was totally different. Then they got to the playoffs. You know, they put
And
Watson
those
back
fans,
in.
those
Ain't
fans were
going nowhere.
jumping too, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike,
Cleveland was like,
you took the
what?
words right out of my mouth. The Cleveland Browns miss Joe Flacco, and they probably never wanted to say that, but they wish they
Yeah.
had him right now.
Oh, heck
No
Then
yeah.
the
disrespect to
Baker
Jameis.
Mayfield, Tony.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation there with the towel in Cleveland right
boy.
now. So you know, we gotta we'll talk about that later, but that's
Jameis
a whole
Winston's
nother
not.
situation, man. Yeah, I think Richardson, I don't know what he's going to do today. Certainly Jonathan Taylor is going to help. I put him back in my lineup for fantasy day. It's been nice getting him back after 3 weeks with an ankle injury, but I don't know. I don't see, unless Shane Steichen comes out with the flak attack and something happens. I just think Houston's got too much for him still. But so yeah, I'm going to go with Houston on that one.
Okay.
Let's go to Chicago at Washington. Now Chicago at Washington. Everyone's making a big deal. Pick one, pick two. We got two quarterbacks going on this one. Jermaine, if you're in between Cypress Hill and you can hear us, who do you like on this one?
How bad is Daniels? How bad is Daniels hurt? He's playing today, right?
He's
He is
playing. He
playing.
practiced
He's
on
playing.
Friday.
Oh, okay. Is he? I mean, a rib injury. You know, I don't know. It's gonna be a good game. You know, it's like for me, I think it's a toss up. But it's played in Chicago.
It is
home in Washington.
it
It's
is
at
Chicago
Washington.
at
Okay.
Washington, yes.
All right, just because the Commanders are at home, I'm taking the Commanders.
Look at that, Jermaine
All right.
Homer. Love it.
Going with it. Well, unless some quarterback's returning punts, Mike, you know, you got Russell Wilson at quarterback now. Justin Fields is not doing it. We'll talk about that later, but
Yeah. No, but for this game, yeah, I got Washington. You know, going back to again turnovers, and I think Jaden Daniels will still not turn the ball over, and I think there's a chance that Caleb will have 1 or 2 interceptions, and that'll be the difference in the game. So now I'm picking Washington.
all right, Dre.
I'm taking Washington as well, but Eagles play them next week, right?
Not
I
sure.
thought so.
The
'Cause-
week after next.
the
I think
week after
we get
next.
2 weeks. Yep.
Okay, because I was thinking it's a trap game for Washington, but it's not. But listen, all this that we're talking about now. Remember, Chicago is finding DeAndre Swift now. You know, they did up against the Jaguars. You know, and then the prior week before that, he was rushing. So Washington's got to stop the run. I think because Caleb, I think, is relying on him now. Because he does put in air first, that's dangerous. I think Washington, like you said, is going to pick him off. It's going to be a close game. But I think Washington is going to beat him by 7, maybe even 10.
All right,
I like that.
Tony and half. We'll start with Tony. Who you got?
I got to take my team there. Take
There
the
you go.
Commanders. Exactly what I think a couple of you guys have said. Right, you got to force Williams to make some mistakes. He has been, I think, worthy of the number 1 overall pick. Will probably pan out in Chicago, maybe not with that same coaching staff, but he has made some mistakes this year, especially on deep passes. He's got 5 turnover worthy plays on those deep balls. And I think it'll be on Washington's defense and Joe Witt to dial up some pressure and force him to make some mistakes. If that happens, and like I said earlier, you establish the run, you get ahead of Chicago early, and you squeeze the rest of that game out, dominate time of possession, this is an easy win for us at home.
All right, half.
Like that.
He called it. Tony called it.
Hard to go last because you guys made phenomenal points. You know, turnovers, time of possession, very important here. I think it's going to come down to Kingsbury's play call. I think we need to drive long. We need to drive with several plays. I think we need to keep those receivers of the Bears off the field. They have depth at receiver, and our secondary scares me still to this moment. And we've played teams that have one good receiver or maybe one good receiver and a good tight end. The Bears have 3 really good wide receivers and a good tight end. I think that if Caleb Williams has time today, they can put points up on the Commanders' defense. I think that we will take the ball away. Hopefully, we can see another play like Dante Fowler's return like last week.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders by 7 in the shootout.
There you go.
Man.
I
Yeah.
like it.
You know, Hef, you nailed it. And I actually was going to bring up, besides the play calling, the special teams. I think that's going to be the difference in this one.
Well,
And-
Freiberg's the man.
Yeah. I think the special teams could end up winning this game. I think it is going to be a high scoring one. I do think Washington pulls it out in the end. I just think that they'll have a better game plan. I think they're better coached. So I do like Washington in this one, but it's going to be close for sure.
Let's be real. The major difference here is Washington has Major Tutty and the Bears.
Yo,
Yeah, that's right. KD chiming in. Funny how the game has switched to run heavy year after the devaluation of the halfback market. Interesting. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point because we were all the last 10 years we're talking about this is a pass happening league now because of the rule changes and stuff. But that is true. I mean,
Mhm.
it's actually good to see Derrick Henry still running like he's running a 4-2 or
guy's-
so, man. That dude, we thought Derrick Henry was done. Derrick Henry showed when he broke out 2 weeks ago, when he broke out for that 90-yard touchdown, I was like, no, man, this dude ain't done. He ain't done.
Do you know
No.
how much your offense runs at an easier pace when you've got a run game like that? I mean, I love Lamar Jackson. I come off as a Lamar hater. I do out here in Baltimore because I think he's a tad overrated. And I'm sorry, but to have a Derrick Henry running, I mean, it's a perfect match. Match made in heaven.
Yeah, I can say I've seen enough of the Ravens after KD almost came back. I've had an 80-point lead in fantasy, and he almost came back and won on me. So that he got like 70 points just from those two guys alone.
you know, me and Jermaine talked over a couple days ago. Jermaine's like, Dre, the Baltimore Ravens have a run game now. So they are a top. They could probably finally, not probably, they are contender, AFC championship. You know, so I was like, you're right, because I'm kind of what you. I'm what you have. Like I'm a Lamar. You know, I'm on Lamar as well. And I was like, oh man, they can't get over the hump. No, and Jermaine's like, Dre, they got a running game now. So they it's not all Lamar no more.
Hey, you know how I feel about the Chiefs and Mahomes too, man. You know, until he can beat Mahomes, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm going to say the Ravens always had a run game. I mean, when they had Gus Edwards and stuff, they ran the ball. They just need to remember to run the ball, especially when it gets to the playoffs. I mean, that's what happened last year. They were number one team by a long shot. I mean, by a mile in the AFC. Everyone thought they couldn't be beat. And then when they went and played the Chiefs in the championship game, all of a sudden they were throwing the ball left and right and not running. And it's like, well, what got you here running the ball? So, I mean, you know, they just got to commit to it. They've had good running games all along. They just don't commit to it, and then they start losing when they don't.
Harbaugh needs to not play matchup and just play his team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like
you know,
I'm going against Andy Reid.
there.
I got to pass. No, you should have run the ball.
Yeah, you know, Monkey, you know, the offensive coordinator. But yeah, I don't know. They lost their identity in that game, and it cost them.
My only concern with the Ravens is their defense. I don't think their defense is as good as it has been in the past. So that's my only concern. Are they going to be able to hold that when they start playing the better team? They're going to have to win in shootouts. So that's you know, I don't know. We'll see what
Pittsburgh is creeping. I'm pointing backwards. Like Pittsburgh is behind that door, man.
Yeah.
So Ravens need to remember that.
Please don't bring back memories for the Pittsburgh Jets game. For some reason, I put all the money on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
Oh, no.
I had no clue.
KD, you should not be texting and driving.
Yeah, that's dangerous, man. Take it easy, man. You know,
the downs of the game were brought back.
Your Mini Cooper is not self-driving, KD.
Yeah. All right, we got two more games, two more predictions here. Mike picked this one, Buffalo at Seattle. Jermaine, jump around. What do you got on this one? Buffalo at Seattle.
Buffalo.
Yay.
Buffalo all the way.
All right, very good.
You got to pause.
The crowd agrees with you there.
Crowd noise.
That's awesome. All right, so Jermaine's got Buffalo all the way. Mike, Cook has kind of been up and down with Buffalo a little bit. They're going to be able to get a running game in this one?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's where Seattle struggles is stopping the run. They have one of the best pass defenses, but stopping the run is going to be their problem. So as long as Buffalo sticks to running the ball, which they have done a better job of doing that, I think they'll win. I think one surprising stat that I saw from this year with Buffalo is that Allen has 0 turnovers,
Yep.
0 interceptions. I
That's
can't believe.
right.
I mean, this is a guy
Yep.
that was just
Mhm.
year after year throwing picks, and
Wasn't it the Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs?
yeah. Well, maybe that is it. Maybe he
That
has
might
to
be.
spread the ball around more and see if more guys are open or something. But he is doing a better job of, spreading the ball around. I mean, when Shakira is out, that offense really kind of struggled. But he's back, and then of course they got Amari Cooper, and I thought that was just one of the
Yeah.
best trades that's happened so far this year.
Yep. You fit right in.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I got the Bills. I hate the Seahawks, so I get the Bills. No matter what.
No, you call them the sea chickens.
Yeah. Sea chicken.
yeah, that's right. I shouldn't even be calling them by their proper name.
The sea chicken.
He doesn't like the
Stat-
chickens. He likes, his favorite teams are the Sea Chickens and McGenius. Those are his two.
The Lambs, lambs,
Lambs,
frogs, and sea
lambs.
chickens. Can't stand any of them.
Well, listen, guys. You know that Seattle's number 1 in passing. Do you know that?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a
They're
good
number 1 in
offense.
passing. Buffalo's 17. But here's the thing. DK Metcalf is out, right? I think he's hurt.
Yep.
Tyler
Mhm.
Lockett has got to really have an A game, and so does Geno Smith. And then Walker, man, their running back is pretty nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know what team is Buffalo right now. I mean, I want to say Buffalo, but my gut is telling me Seattle. It's a 3-point spread, so if Tyler can fill in with DK and also that run game, I think they're going to run on Buffalo, honestly, with Walker. So I'm taking Seattle.
All right.
All right.
Tony.
I'm with you, Dre. I think this is a close game. You still don't know which Bills team will show up, right? And to be honest, I mean, I like the acquisition of Amari Cooper, and I think Josh Allen's finally coming into his own. No, not turning the ball over. But I'm going to take Seattle. Something here tells me that this is one of those games where Geno lights it up, has a good game. Kenneth Walker, I love. He's on 2 of my fantasy teams. He tears it up. And I think, Seattle at home, setting the tone, and then, playing complementary football, all 3 phases. Can their defense kind of stig me, Josh, a little bit there and ultimately squeeze this one out? I think it's possible. Something's telling me, so I'm going to go with Seattle.
I feel you.
All right, Hef.
So the Bills are also without Terrell Bernard, one of their top defensive players.
Ooh.
Their linebackers are down. I think if Kenneth Walker can get some things going on the ground, Metcalf won't be missed as much. And you brought up an interesting stat. I think maybe Allen's due for a couple turnovers. Maybe today's the day. So I wouldn't bet on this game, but if I had to pick an upset, it'd be Seattle.
No parlay?
Nah, I'm not parlaying. This is a don't touch for Hef.
I like the under 47.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And Dizzle saying no DK, Bills all day.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think it's going to be tough for them. I think that eventually the Bills will bring this one out. It's going to be close, but in the end, I think there's a last minute drive and they pull it down and they win. So Buffalo on this one, barely. But
nice
kind of pulling it
split.
out.
This is interesting. This is an interesting one.
Yeah. All right, if we have to.
Here
we go. All right.
Let's do it.
Philadelphia at Cincinnati. Jermaine, Jalen stats last week, not great. Saquon again went crazy and kind of bailed him out again. I mean, Jalen didn't have to be great last week. He just kind of let Saquon do his thing. Everybody's all excited in Philly because they just beat the 2 worst teams in the league, Cleveland and the Giants. Everybody's all fired up. It starts getting a little more interesting from here for the Eagles, though, Jermaine. And it starts with Cincinnati here today. Who you got? Oh, okay, he left. He's like, I ain't got nobody. Okay. Yeah, so we'll go to Mike then.
Okay. I think you shocked him. That's what it was.
Oh,
There he is.
Oh, my bad. I hit something by mistake. But yeah, until the Eagles show me consistency, hey, Eagles are my team. But until they show me consistency of what's happening and all this stuff, I'm picking Cincinnati to win this game.
Woo!
Katie's mad at you.
Wow.
Katie's mad at you.
Katie's, Cincinnati always.
I think Katie pulled the car over to start typing
They're
this.
coming. They're getting hot at the right time. So yeah, Cincinnati.
That's a great point, Jermaine. Cincinnati is getting hot. You know, KD is texting his Mini Cooper right now, getting fired up. So, you know. Mike, this is an interesting one because the momentum is certainly on Cincinnati's side, and everybody's like, "Yay, the Eagles won 2 in a row." Well, let's see.
No, I'm taking the Eagles, and I know they're still having their struggles, but you got Saquon McCaffrey back there who just happens to save the team, and I think it'll be him that'll do it again. He'll have that explosive play that'll fire the team up, that just gets everything kind of in line, and then the defense will wake up, and the offense, Jalen will wake up, and they'll find a way to win. So I'm picking the Eagles.
All right, Trey.
Ooh, so Eagles are 5th in defense versus 24th defense in the Bengals. And then the opposite, Eagles passing game is 27th and Cincinnati 6th. So what's that mean? Well, Jalen Hurts, right? And opposite, the defense has got to do some pass rushing to get after Burrows.
Yeah.
Higgins is out, right? Higgins out?
Probably, yes.
So will Eagles try to double team on Jamar Chase? Probably so. I would. Maybe even triple team him. So the running game for them, for the Bengals, it's like it's par. So, man, I'm taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles defense are going to show up. I mean, Jermaine said consistency is the problem. And I want to see the Eagles defense really put a good pass rush on Burrows. I'm taking the Eagles.
All right, Tony.
I know Howie's still waiting for a return on investment on all those Georgia players, but
Yep.
That's
right.
I'm taking Cincinnati here, home favorite, only 2.5 points.
Ooh.
I'll say this: I really liked when the Eagles took Saquon from the Giants. I watch Hard Knocks. Just those few episodes of Saquon leaving. Anytime I'm feeling bad, just to get a nice warm and fuzzy, see John Mara's face when losing their favorite running back. And I'll say this: he's been good, but I think the Bengals offense is going to be tough to compete against, even with T. Higgins out. So I've got to ride with them, even them covering the 2.5. Maybe a close game, but I think they ultimately pull away.
All right, have no surprise with KD. You know who he's picking. So here you got.
First time I disagree with Tony today.
Oh,
my God! I'm looking at the
sorry,
numbers. I'm looking at the numbers around this. This looks like the bettors are trying to gear up Bengals bets. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they're 2.5 point favorites. I don't believe it. Yeah, they're at home. T. Higgins isn't playing. I think they're trying to sway people to bet on Cincinnati. I don't buy them this week. The Bengals all time have dominated the Eagles. Did you guys know this?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Dominated the Eagles 9-3-2 all time records. So I think the Eagles get a win to get up a little bit in the rankings with their all time record today. I think that they saw the Commanders beat the Bengals. They don't want to lose to the Bengals.
No.
Divisional teams look at other divisional teams and see how they stand against other teams. If that makes sense, at least I would as a coach or as a front office person. And if the Commanders beat the Bengals, we got to beat them too. I'm going to take the Eagles today.
Okay.
Wow. Have some good points there. I do not like the Eagles' offensive line. Malliot is out. Johnson's banged up. They're already using Tyler Steen as well. Becton is out. So the Eagles' offensive line is really banged up.
Are you taking the Bengals, Sal?
I am taking the Bengals.
The Eagles gonna win, right?
I am.
Clip it, Drake. Clip it.
Right there. Every time Sal picks against the Eagles, that's when they wins.
That's
See,
it.
Sal already done switched up.
So I got to go with the Bengals today. I probably would have been a little more convinced to go with them even more if T. Higgins was playing, because I don't think they could have stopped both.
No.
I will say that I do like the Eagles' young cornerbacks. I do think that they're playing very, very well. So
Tony's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't like Slay still. And you guys know how I feel about the other guy that Mike.
No, Tony, he does not like Slay.
Trashberry. Not going to talk about Trashberry or Slay. I think the Eagles got to play the young guys today, and I think that they come in and they play okay, but it is Jamar Chase. It is Burrow. They got the momentum. Eagles' offensive line is banged up, and they do have some really good pass rushers, the Bengals. So I just don't know that the Eagles, especially if they get off to another slow start again, if they're going to be able to come back against that team. So
you're saying that Barkley's going to have some problems because the offensive line is substituting in their starters.
I don't think the run game will have a problem. I think it'll be Jalen won't have the time. I think Jalen's going to have a long day back there.
Trey
He tries it
Henderson,
fast.
two sacks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
If
definitely.
they stick to the run,
Yeah, I
if they stick to the run and just feed Saquon, and you let's hope that the Eagles figure it out. I think this offense revolves around Saquon until
agree.
Jalen starts figuring it out. So,
Right.
but
Saquon
if they don't run Saquon, then yeah, that's what I'm saying. Until I see consistency and some type of balance or whatever, yeah, I think the Eagles they're going to lose unless
Mhm.
they run Saquon.
Yeah. Well, Kellen Moore, we'll see what he dials up. Or is it Sirianni
Saquon.
dialing up? We
He's
still
got to
don't
get
know.
more than 20 touches, honestly.
Mhm.
That's why I
know.
call Saquon McCaffrey, man, because I mean he's literally like the bell cow. I mean he's the guy you just got to keep giving the ball as much as possible and keep him involved.
Exactly.
And
Beat him.
he gets everybody fired up.
They're gonna
Because-
get their money's worth.
Before the
Mhm.
Giants game, his carries were going down. Like it started off high, went down middle,
Mhm.
went to the Giants. It didn't matter who the running back was. Eagles always rushed the ball a lot against the Giants.
Yeah.
So, they got to keep that same mentality today, I think.
Another big thing that we didn't talk about is that Dallas Goedert is out again. This guy has
Yeah.
been out a ton. That's a big piece that you're missing again. That opens up the middle of the field. And I don't know why Goddard just can't stay on the field. This has been a couple years now. He's just gotten hurt, and they don't have a backup tight end.
Is he
Well,
washed?
Sal, you said he opens up the field. He never gets the ball. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he's
had
gotta
that one
get the
good
ball.
game this season, and
Mhm.
he's been like, he's been out of the picture since then. I mean, they got to get him involved. Yes,
Mhm.
he is a man that can, open up the middle. But geez, I mean, the only thing we saw was that one good game he had. He had over 100
Green Bay,
yards,
yeah.
like 12
Yeah.
receptions and stuff.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Like I said, consistency. They have to figure this out, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're all over the place. So
Yeah,
Yep.
I just don't have no faith in them today. Again, I'm sorry.
I agree. And
Now you apologizing.
Yeah, and even the blocking schemes of the tight ends, the blockers they got in there as backup tight ends are not very good. So I don't know. I just think that
They're going to win. I think they're going to win.
Oof. Homer.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this has been like awesome as always. We got to wrap this thing up. Some final thoughts, Tony Hef. We'll give each of you like a good 30 seconds here, a minute. Some closing thoughts for this week.
Sure. Well, one, thanks for having me on, and then two,
Mhm.
very optimistic about the Commanders' future. Right. I don't know about the whole winning the division. I take it 1 week at a time, but I'm very happy with the way the team has developed, the organization has developed, and I couldn't be even more ecstatic to have Jaden under center. Just want to keep him healthy and see how the rest of the year pans out. And I will say this: I think Nick Sirianni probably on one of the hottest seats in the league right now.
Oh, yeah.
As the rest of the season plays out. Maybe outside of Doug Peterson, but the eyes are going to be on the Eagles down the stretch here. He's got to figure it out, or he's going to be looking for a new job.
Yeah, so, hey man, we talked about this last week. I told you guys how I feel about Nick. He's
Yeah.
definitely there, but we'll see, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Hef, break it down, man.
Man, I want to thank you guys very much for having me today. It was a pleasure being on the show. This is my favorite NFL podcast around.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Tony. I wish I could have
Pleasure.
seen Jermaine a lot more today. That's my guy. He knows it. Hopefully he didn't leave the show because I was here today. I really love Jermaine. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Chiefs as much. And Jermaine just came around to Patrick Mahomes, but it's good to see him on board. I think this year is still a Chiefs year. I think the Commanders are a year away. I'm really loving the foundation that we're building in Washington as far as being a Commanders fan. I think today, if we win, it's going to be one of those times, Tony, to where me and you are going to have to kind of cover our ears because everybody's going to be in love with Jaden and the Commanders, and we're winning everything, and we know how it goes. So don't fall for it.
Week by week.
But the good thing is, and I'll sign off, is that we're like third in salary cap. So this offseason, to see what Peters does, it's going to be phenomenal, man. And people are going to want to come play in Washington again. So stay tuned.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, KD, appreciate you chiming in here. And Loop saying the Jets are coming back today,
Oh
baby.
my God.
Oh,
man.
Luke said
Don't
the
bet your
Jets,
money on them.
No
the Jets
way.
are coming
Oh,
back,
no.
baby. Okay.
I'm eating ramen noodles today because of it.
If Adam
man.
stopped eating Taco Bell in his house, maybe
Yeah,
so.
no, the Jets not coming back.
Man.
Well, no, they're coming. They're playing the Patriots today, so I think they come back today. Yeah,
Ooh.
Drake Mayday. Here we go.
yeah.
I got
Start
you know,
Jesse D.
I can't start Wilson yet because I just don't know what I'm just not sold on the quarterback. I'm not. Aaron Rodgers, I can't do it yet.
He's washed.
So, it's too much, man. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with the Jets. They are an interesting team, of course. A lot of interesting games today, guys. So as always, Hef and Tony, it's been a pleasure having you guys on. I can't tell you how much it means to us that you spend the time. I know you guys are all doing a million different things with kids and families, so definitely appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody who watches our show and makes comments like KD, even though he's an Eagles hater. We'll deal with that tonight. And if you're around tonight, definitely check them out. 9:00, man, All Dressed Up podcast. But even better, you got to check out the Climbback series, like I mentioned in the beginning with that is such an amazing show to see people rebuild their lives and come back and then document that. It is just amazing. So many good stories in there.
Entrepreneurship,
And,
it's just amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
so check that out if you haven't checked out the Climbback series. It's well worth it, and it's getting hot, man. They're getting a lot of attention, so definitely check that out. I think it's better than ADU in my opinion, but I won't say anything.
No, our heart's with ADU. We know that.
I know. Yeah, he knows. So the biggest hater, Katie. I knew that was coming. I knew that would spark him. He drove off the road in his Mini Cooper on that one.
Hands on the wheel, KD. Hands on the wheel.
Hey guys, have a great week. Enjoy the games. And really quickly before it, as always, check us out on all our social media channels. We're on YouTube, Instagram, X, all those we're live on. And as always, you can email us at enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. We appreciate you guys as always. And Jermaine looking cool with the shades on now. I like it. There he is. And we appreciate him getting on the show today with everything running around. So thanks, Jermaine, too. Hope you're winning over there. What's the score? Are we winning?
Yeah, they won. They won the first game. So two more games. They win the championship. So
All right,
Nice.
man.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Cypress
man.
Hill
Good
cheering y'all
Good
on.
job.
yeah.
Wish you the best, man. Hang in there. Let us know keep us posted how they're doing. All right.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, Hef, man. Hey, good show, guys, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Jermaine. Always
Anytime,
a pleasure.
Jermaine.
Yeah, man. Yep.
All right. Awesome. We'll catch you up on the flip side next Sunday, as always, 11 a.m. Talk to you guys later.
All right, y'all. Enjoy.
All right. See you.
Peace out.
Yeah. Enjoy the game.